Hi, I'm Chef AJ and welcome back to my kitchen where I show you another one of the fabulous recipes from the Forks Over Knives meal planner. Today I'm going to be making a tomato bisque with rice. I'm so sad that this week of showing you a recipe every day from the meal planner is coming to an end, but it doesn't have to come to an end for you because you get a free trial if you like just by clicking the link below in the show notes where the recipe will be. And please check out all week's worth of recipes that I've done. You don't have to be a professional chef to make the Forks Over Knives recipes because they're so easy to make, they're so forgiving, they're flexible, they're healthy and delicious, and they never have any oil. They're all whole food plant-based, low in sodium, low in fat. So as always, we start with the aromatics pretty much for every recipe, onion and garlic when you're making soup. And you know that the pot's ready or the pan is ready by just going like that. When the little balls of water dance, it's ready because we don't saute with any oil. So my onion is chopped, and you're probably like, wow, she didn't chop her garlic. Well, you know why? This soup is being blended, and so I don't have to go to the trouble. The onion was already cut. So I'm just gonna get these a little bit soft. And as always, if you're not using a nonstick pan, feel free to use the best pan you can afford. A lot of people like stainless steel or even waterless cookware or the ceramic coated pan. There's something called a scan pan or a green pan. And the way you cook without oil is just using things like a little bit of water or broth just to get it along its way. Now this soup is going to be pureed, so you're going to see me putting in big chunks of things because I didn't need to go to the trouble cutting it small since I'm going to be blending it. And I'm going to be using a tool called an immersion blender where I blend it right in the pot. It makes it easy and it's very safe to do that. You could of course use a regular blender, but realize you have to be very careful because heat can expand in the blender. And if you can get an immersion blender, they're not very expensive. It's just an easy way to do this. So I'm just getting everything a little bit soft before I add the rest of my ingredients. Now with the Forks Over Knives meal planner, you can choose to omit any recipe that you don't like, and not any recipe, but any ingredient if you're allergic or have a sensitivity or just don't care for it. Like if you have to be soy-free or gluten-free or nut-free, that can all be customized very easily. And you can search for recipes based on ingredients that you do like and that you have on hand, so it makes it really, really easy to do that, as well as doubling or quadrupling the recipe or even cutting the recipe in half. You always get a generated shopping list. You can use your phone and just scan that QR code and have it with you whenever you want. So it makes it very easy. What's nice about the Forks Over Knives recipe is they don't really need any tweaking unless you want to add more seasoning or whatever. And sometimes I just do things based on what I have on hand. So I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients now. So I've got my russet potato, and the reason it's cut in big chunks is because, like I said, we're going to puree this anyway. And I've got my plant milk. And I'm going to add my can of fire roasted tomatoes. This happens to be a salt-free brand that I like called Muir Glen. I'm going to add my seasonings. There's some Italian seasoning in here, crushed red pepper flakes, and a bay leaf. And of course, you can always add salt and pepper to taste. What I want to do is bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for 15 minutes before I puree it so that the potatoes and everything gets nice and soft. I had this half a bell pepper left. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I'm just going to put it in. Why not? It's going to cook up. It's just going to make it just as delicious. I do that a lot with things I have on hand because it is a soup. And one of the things I'm going to do is, in addition to adding cooked brown rice to the soup as the recipe calls for, I had half a bag of rice cauliflower from another recipe I made from the Forks Over Knives meal planner that was delicious. This will just bump up the nutrition, so I'm going to add that as well. You can do that with these recipes. So I do need to bring this to a boil, and then it's going to cook for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to show you how we finish it. All right, so I have simmered this, well actually boiled and simmered on a high heat for about 15 minutes. I'm going to turn it off now. And the first thing you want to do is remove the bay leaf because we are going to blend this in the pot. So we'll get rid of that. And of course you want to season things the way you like them, you know, salt and pepper to taste traditionally, but I don't eat salt and I'm allergic to black pepper, so I tasted it while it was cooking and I added a little smoked paprika. I put my own spin on it. These immersion blenders are great because you can blend right in the pot. It has a recessed blade so you won't scrape or damage your pot. Just make sure you keep it down while you're blending. If you lift it up while it's on, you could burn yourself with the hot soup. So we're just going to move it around and blend everything. This is a nice thick bisque made very creamy by the potato. If it's too thick for you, I like my soups and stews fairly thick. You can add more water or vegetable broth, which actually, this is pretty thick because I used an extra large potato, so let me get a little bit of water. Remember, anytime you cook, you can always add, but you can't take away. There we go. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And the reason is I did use an extra large potato because I didn't know what to do with the rest of it. There we go, that looks more like a soup texture. Anytime you want to remove it or move it to another place, just stop blending. There we go. Looks like cream of tomato soup. Just want to get every chunk of potato. It's amazing how well potato works for a thickener. You don't need things like cream or even flour to make a roux. Potato works fantastic. So once it's all blended, one more piece of potato. There we go. That looks, whoop, one more piece hiding. All right. These are not very expensive, these immersion blenders. You can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond, Costco. So I'm going to just put in this cauliflower rice just because I thought it would be fun and I had some left over. And it's going to cook really quickly because it's riced so small. So that's something you can do if you don't want to use rice, but I love rice and I had some cooked from the last meal in my rice cooker. This is brown basmati and I'm just going to put this in. So I'm going to have a nice thick soup or bisque. I'm not really sure what the difference between a soup or a bisque is, but I love lots of rice in my soup. So it's thick and creamy, yum. It's more of like a meal then, but you don't have to put it in if you don't want. Let me just get a little bowl. Look at that, wow. Almost looks like a chili. You know what, this one I want to taste. Let's see. It's so yummy because the cauliflower is very toothsome. This is delicious. I hope you'll try this recipe and all the recipes I showed you this week from the Forks Over Knives Meal Planner. You can get a free trial just by clicking the link below where you'll also find today's recipe. And I hope you'll enjoy this and try it and let me know what you think. Thanks so much, Forks Over Knives, for creating such healthy, delicious, and easy to make recipes. To your health, everyone.